Paul Arnold here, sometimes known as Studying Professor, and today I want to talk to you about behavioural economics, and it's a really fascinating field that's really taken hold over the past number of years and actually is really helping to shape the way we do marketing and all other things as well. And where it sort of came out of is because, you know, when you looked at what economics was suggesting, economics was really suggesting that, you know, people would actually make completely rational decisions. They'd weigh up some options, look at the pros and cons of each, and then make a rational choice. But you know what? That wasn't the way that things were happening. So there enters psychology into this, and basically started to realize that actually we don't do things quite the way we think. And actually, we are actually quite illogical. And we're also very bad decision makers, and we're easily influenced unconsciously by seemingly irrelevant information. Now, I don't want you to think on the really big things we're going to be, you know, necessarily hoodwinked. Because actually what we do know is actually that, you know, behavioural economics really works a lot of the margins. So when things are pretty close together, then actually a little bit of a nudging can sort of make you go one way or the other way. And we definitely know that we are very much emotionally driven in our decision making. All the work in the neuroscience has actually reconfirmed that. So all these sort of mean that, you know, this idea of we are Spock-like rational decision makers is not true. And in truth, what we're doing, we're just trying to make it easy for ourselves because we don't like making decisions. We're not very good at making decisions. And so consequently, shortcuts often help us. And we talk about this big word, heuristics, this idea about these ways that we sort of make sense of the world, and we go these tramline effects. By and large, works really well for most of the time, but every now and again, it can mislead us. And one thing that's also being found is we are what we call satisficers, not optimizers. I know we tend to think we always want to make the very best decision, but frankly, we don't have the time, the mental space to really do it. So actually, as long as it's not the worst decision, we're more likely to go with that. And actually, you know, the 80-20 rule really plays a big part here, because what we don't want to do is spend, you know, a massive amount of time deciding which is the very best passata sauce. Frankly, life's far too short about that. Which brings me into like two other things that's come a lot from the work that Daniel Kahneman's done in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, and I've done a separate review of that book, you know, is this principle called Wiziati, which is what you see is all there is. And I've developed another form of that, which I call Wizi-How, is what you see is all used, and we'll come on to that a bit later on. Okay, so now let's just review some of the key drivers that we see in behavioural economics. And I'm going to review two big ones that seem to sort of underpin a lot of the other ones, and then I'm going to go through 10 other ones that I think actually are the key ones, even though there are loads and loads more. So the first two key ones we call the primary drivers are comparative context and ease. So comparative context is this idea that we don't like making decisions so much easier if you compare it versus something else, because then you can say, well, this is better than that. So actually, in terms of marketing, one of the key things you've got to look at is actually, what are we comparing stuff to? So the Duracell campaign for years compared themselves to a lesser type of chemical battery, and therefore made them seem to be so much better, when actually any of the batteries that are made of the same chemistry are exactly the same, but they chose a lesser type of chemical battery. But, you know, all the comparison websites are really helping us these days, because we can see everything labelled out together and we can look at those things. Which therefore leads into the next thing we've got to think about when we're thinking about comparative context is, what are the criteria that are really important? And if we can influence those criteria is quite important. I remember I was trying to buy a camera once, and I went in talking about pixels, and the camera salesman said, no, that is actually an irrelevant thing to be looking at. But I didn't know. The next one is ease. You know, frankly, if you can make it really easy to buy, really easy to use, then actually you're more likely to get people to want to actually purchase what you're saying. So actually, you know, this whole idea about contactless is making it much easier for people, because you think how hard and difficult it was putting in the 4 digits before, but now you go ching. Or Amazon Prime. I know we don't like them and they're killing the local bookshelf, but at the end of the day, you don't need to re-input your name, your address, your credit card, etc. And you just go click, bang, and it's done. It makes it easy. Or I joke about pomegranates. No one used to eat pomegranates because they were bloody difficult. And if you got any of that white stuff on, it made it taste bitter. As soon as then they were able to work out how to separate that out and put it into nice little packs, suddenly you went to buy it, even though it's probably 3 or 4 times the price. The same with salad in bags. Your mother probably has a complete fit when she sees you at home serving, salad out of a bag rather than actually just buy a cotton and chopping it up. But you know what? It's easy. And frankly, anything in life that makes life easy is better for us. Anyway, a quick whistle-stop tour through behavioural economics. I run workshops on this all the time. So if I can be of use, then by all means follow me up on the link at the end of this video. In the meantime, take care and enjoy yourselves. Bye.